Hey everyone, and welcome to the Foundry by Forge College. Go ahead and grab your hard hats and roll out your architectural blueprints, because today we're embarking on a pretty fascinating structural mapping of the web's evolution. If you've ever tried to compare the wildly different eras of the internet, you know it can honestly feel like comparing apples to, well, entire skyscrapers. So in this explainer, we're going to build a rigorous, evidence-based comparative framework to evaluate Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3, and we're going to do it without getting totally lost in the technical weeds.
Okay, let's dive into this. It is incredibly easy to get swept away by marketing hype or bogged down in super dense jargon when you're looking at the history of the internet. I mean, how on earth do you objectively compare a clunky, lovable 1990s chat room to a highly complex, modern decentralized protocol? To do this properly in your upcoming capstone report, we need a standardized lens, a really impartial set of evaluation criteria that strips away all those buzzwords and focuses strictly on architecture, power, and incentives.
So here is our architectural blueprint for today's explainer. First, the web blueprint. Second, eras as city districts. Third, 4 evaluation criteria. Fourth, a 5-step workflow. And finally, your capstone next steps. All right, let's get building.
Section 1. The Web Blueprint, laying our foundation.
To truly understand where we're going, we first need to quickly anchor ourselves to our foundational context. In our previous lesson in the Blockchain Fundamentals track, Economic and Governance Trade-offs, we looked at how token-based, off-chain, and hybrid governance models shape coordination. And the core insight there was simple but honestly profound. Governance mechanism choices predictably change incentive alignment and stakeholder power. Those effects then ripple outward, right? They impact economic outcomes and technical design. So we're actually going to use governance as the primary axis to evaluate each web era, creating a shared structure to apply everything you've learned so far.
Section 2. Eras as city districts. This is our core mental model.
To make our analysis totally impartial and intuitive, I want you to imagine the web not as a series of software updates, but as an evolving city divided into distinct districts. First up, we have the archive quarter. This represents Web 1. Picture the internet of the 1990s. These are your clunky, lovable static parcels. You relied heavily on public or institutional libraries. It was mostly read-oriented content served from distributed file servers using decentralized protocols like HTTP. You know, it was open, it was a bit messy, but crucially, it operated completely without massive centralized middlemen directing the traffic.
Next, we wander into the marketplace district, representing Web 2. And wow, the architecture here changes dramatically. We are now dealing with centralized megamall owners. Sure, they provide beautifully curated storefronts and really smooth escalators, but they also act as private mall cops, dictating all the rules of engagement. In this district, the monetization strategy revolves almost entirely around capturing and selling your attention and data.
Finally, we reach the cooperative commons, or Web 3. Now, this district introduces shared governance over open public spaces. Instead of gated malls, you have these permissionless stalls that absolutely anyone can build upon and connect together. It acts as an open square where native economic primitives and programmable scarcity drive the economic engines, rather than those purely ad-driven models we just saw.
And this brilliantly illustrates our method. By thinking like a city planner, we can separate any web product into 3 distinct municipal departments. First, you have infrastructure, the physical roads and pipes, or in our case, protocols and hosting tech. Then you have institutions, the zoning laws and ownership rules, which map directly to governance models. And finally, you have economics, the taxes and market rents, which translate to advertising or token issuance. Breaking things down like this stops you from conflating a flashy new technical feature with actual underlying institutional change.
Section 3. Evaluation criteria. Let's look at the 4 core pillars.
Now that we understand our city districts, let's look at the specific building codes we'll use to inspect them. What's absolutely crucial to note here is that this is the exact rubric you're going to use to score artifacts in your capstone report. We look at functionality. What capabilities exist and how are they actually realized? We look at governance. Who makes the rules and how are they enforced? We examine data control. Who actually stores and controls user data and how portable is it? And finally, economics. How exactly is value created, captured, and shared?
Let's look at a concrete example of how these criteria differ across eras. Under the functionality building code, a Web 2 platform might offer you a highly personalized feed powered by server-side composition. It's fast, sure, but it's totally closed off. In contrast, a Web 3 protocol might provide on-chain settlements and fully composable smart contract primitives. They solve the exact same basic need for user interaction, but they do it through vastly different architectural choices.
So the crucial point is that you should be constantly asking yourself these two questions. Who holds the power? And who controls the data? Using our criteria reveals where decentralization actually affects the system. Is it shifting the institutional rules? Is it altering who captures the economic rents? Or is it simple shifting how the physical infrastructure is provisioned behind the scenes?
Section 4, the 5-step workflow, applying our framework.
Let's move to and see how this builds into an actionable process for your capstone. Having a rubric is great, but you need a reproducible 5-step workflow to prevent common analytic mistakes. Step 1, select comparable artifacts. Step 2, map the stakeholders. Step 3, collect your signals and evidence. Step 4, score systematically. And Step 5, synthesize the implications. Following this flow ensures your final report is objective and completely evidence-based.
I really want to highlight Step 2, mapping the stakeholders. Going right back to our city planning metaphor, explicitly list who plays which role. The end users are your city residents. The platform operators are the mega property owners. Token holders act as municipal authorities voting on changes, and developers are the businesses setting up shop. Mapping these roles instantly reveals who wins, who loses, and who captures the surplus under different web eras.
I also really need to emphasize Step 4, scoring systematically. You're going to score from 0, being highly centralized, all the way to 4, being fully permissionless. But here is my major warning to you. Do not hide behind a single number summary. In all of our learning programs across Forge College, we strongly value well-reasoned qualitative evidence over simple reductive metrics. Single numbers hide critical trade-offs, so you must always include a rationale paragraph explaining the why behind your score. Section 5, your capstone next steps. Bringing it all together.
Okay, so we've built the framework and we've walked the city districts. Now it's time to bring it all together. If there is one core takeaway from this entire architectural review, it's this. Treat decentralization as a lens that clarifies how institutional and technical choices interact, rather than a single binary attribute. Decentralization isn't just a buzzword, and it definitely isn't a simple on-off switch. It's a vast spectrum of design choices that dictate power, economics, and data control.
So my final question to you is, what target use case will you analyze next? Are you going to map the evolution of social sharing, digital identity, or maybe file storage? Pick your focus and start assembling your evidence folder. Grab those governance docs, technical specs, and tokenomics data for our next lesson on operationalizing metrics. To dive deeper into this framework and explore all our other Web3 related topics, be sure to visit forge.college. Happy building planners, and I'll see you in the next explainer.